we're coming home from dinner, and I was like, oh my God, I have to hop on. So we're driving.
So romantic.
Yes, yes.
That's nice. I love that we're going to have some clients and some Boulevard users and some non-clients and some non-Boulevard users. This is going to be fun. We're going to get started here in just a second. So I don't, while we're waiting for everybody to come on and join, I will, I don't know like how many of you are into astrology or not, and this was not planned,
Yeah,
but
where's this going?
I did see on TikTok today that tonight is the full cold. You can tell this is I don't totally get this super moon in Gemini or something like that, but I was like, so what's this all about? And it's about like letting go of chaos and clutter and things that no longer serve you to make room for 2026 and all the growth. And I thought, okay, well that's
You brought
see
that home. That
people,
that's highly relevant.
this is just the universe telling you that you need to get your EMR cleaned up and get ready
Yes.
for some growth in 2026. So again, yeah, the universe is saying don't bring old invoices and stuff into 2026. So I like that. I like that. I like that.
I
Um,
wasn't sure where that was all going to go, but that's perfect. That makes sense for this.
I just thought that was, I mean, just thought that was, I don't know, karmic, maybe that's what it is.
I think it's perfect. I was just talking about how big the moon is. I'm like, it's got to be a full moon today.
Yeah, it's the last one of the year, and apparently
Oh,
where it was the something of the snake and was shedding all of that old skin, and now the horse is coming in, and everything's gonna be amazing for 2026 for all of us. So we're
yay.
cleaning up the clutter, and we're all getting ready, and we are ready. Um, I think let's get started, Brent. If you will keep letting
Yep, I got it.
people in as you see them come in. We're gonna start like super quick introductions. I know we have a lot of like people who are already clients on the call, but we do have some brand new people too who are going to be like, who are these people? So my name is Angela Baldessar, and I am the co-founder of Your Practice Solutions. After 3 decades almost in private practice and two private equity sales, we have really enjoyed the last couple of years of consulting, of growth, of working with private practices, whether it's aesthetic practices or plastic surgery offices, wellness, telehealth. You have a full range of clients, and we love sharing information and things that are important to us. And this is something that I like. I'm kind of a stickler about um, EMR systems and keeping them clean. I have a lot of practices that just kind of use their EMRs to book appointments and take payments. And your EMR can like be so much more than that. And I tell people like that's one of the things that I just love about Boulevard is it can be a part-time marketing person, but it's got to be you got to do the work on. You got to make sure your back end is clean. You got to make sure things are put in there correctly. So we're going to go through some of those check sheets for what we found over our time in practice was like instrumental to making sure that our EMR was working for us constantly and consistently. So we'll go over that tonight. My husband of more than 3 decades is on with us tonight. So Brent, will you say hello and quick intro?
Yep. So I love doing this. Probably not as much as Angela. I tend to cut to the chase and just try to get right to really the heart of the matter, move on to the next problem. But when it comes to EMRs uh, and financials at the end of the year, in particular, I think it's probably one of the most important things you can do as the business owner. For a long time, probably the first 15 years of practice, I didn't really watch the monthly P&Ls. I didn't really watch how tight the EMR systems were, but that was easier back then. I think 20 years ago, it was easy to run a practice. And when you're running at 45, 50% profit margin, it's not that you don't care. It's just that you're not as squeezed. In the last 5 years, when we're running at 22 and 30% profit margins, it's a little tighter. That means that, if we have 10% here, then you go from a 22% profit margin to a 32% profit margin. So we're gonna walk through that, show you how we do it, and I'm gonna give you the simplest way possible. If you only do it once a year, it's gonna add quite a bit of value to your practice. If you do it every month, it's gonna quadruple that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have asked, excuse me, Christina to be on here with us tonight. I want to stress first that all of these things that we are going to talk about tonight should work with any EMR system that you have. But we are not only raving fans of Boulevard, we have partnered with them just because I feel so strongly about so many things, ease of use, um, reporting systems, little things that they do. They listen to their clients, and take that feedback to heart and are constantly growing things. There is no one perfect EMR that's going to fit every single thing you need. Like, does it have every little bell and whistle, every little everything? I don't think there is one perfect one, but for us and what we've seen in 30 years of practice, and I am in people's EMRs all the time. I am in Next Tech, and I'm in them all, in our clients' EMRs all the time. And for me, it's just, I mean, Boulevard is a no-brainer. We use it, we love it. And they're very gracious with us to do these webinars to help teach our clients how to do these things. So Christina, if will you introduce yourself and say hello quickly?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me here,
Yes.
Angela. I'm Christina Fergali. Like Angela mentioned, I'm with Boulevard. I'm a partner marketing manager here, and just really excited to be with you all on the call tonight to talk a little bit more about our platform. We're really an end-to-end client experience platform that covers not only booking, appointment reminders, but all of your payment processing, your reporting, obviously your sales, and then marketing campaigns to bring those patients
That's
back in the door. So here to just show a little bit about us, but really leaving it to the experts and Angela and Dr. Brent to talk about their services and how we work together.
awesome. Okay, great. So what everybody is going to get after the call tonight, you will get a recording of the call. And I know that I had a bunch of people register and say they weren't able to make it, but they were registering because they wanted the recording of the call. So when you get your follow-up, you'll get a recording of the call, and you're also going to get a check sheet. And I think we got it down to like 8 pages long. Maybe I added a couple of things since our last call, so maybe it's a little longer. And this is the end of the year closeout sheet for your EMR. And it's got sections, and we're not going to go through the whole check sheet one at a time tonight to talk about it. Um, but you'll get that whole check sheet, and you can, delegate or work with your team or whatever and go through these things and get things not only closed for 2025, but opened up for some growth possibilities in 2026. So we're just going to kind of broadly cover a couple of topics, and I want to share why we've put them on there, why we think they're important. One of the most important parts is going to be this liabilities, and that's what I'm going to have um, Christina screen share with us to kind of show you what we're talking about and what we mean and why this is so important. And this is whether you're scaling or selling or whatever else. We'll talk about that when we get there, but we're just going to kind of go over um, a couple of the sections and talk about what impact they have if they're not um, correct. So one of the first sections you're going to see on your checklist is payroll, and all of these things that I'm recommending that you do with payroll as it relates to your EMR. I know that most of my clients, I think, as you should, have, if you've got something like Boulevards or something like that, you have a place where you can put in commissions for your providers if you provide them. But this is the time to like go in, dig deep, and make sure those are all correct. We had a client come to us several months ago that she's like, I know there's a leak, like something's going on. And we went through like management, we secret shopped her phones, we like did all of this stuff. And finally I said, give me the login for your EMR. Like it wasn't any of the, traditional things. Normally it's something that's happening at the front desk, the way the phones are being answered, or sales conversions or leads or something like that. She had all this down. So we got into her EMR, and like I immediately see she's got commissions linked up, and she has decided 3 years ago that she is going to charge back to the client credit card processing fees, which is fine. I mean, that's your decision if that's what you want to do. But the way she had the commission set up, she was paying commission on her credit card fees for 3 years to all of her employees. So, 1 or 2 credit card processing fees don't make a big deal, but you add those up so every time somebody uses a credit card, which is almost every time, I mean, every now and then somebody comes in and gives you, $2,200 in cash, but mostly their card. So, she's paying that every time to her employees. So go through and make sure all of that is set up correctly in your EMR. Um, if it's not, it can lead to resentment because you're going to have to go to an employee and you're going to have to say, I made a mistake. I've been overpaying you for 3 years. I'm going to fix it. Now all of a sudden their pay is less than, what they were getting before. So I mean, it can have, cultural impacts. It can create distrust. I mean, just make sure if you're running that all of those things are set up correctly. Are you paying on gross or net? We'll kind of touch on that. The check sheet goes into that a little bit more, but it's a common payroll mistakes that happen from your EMR system can cost you a ton of money. If when it's set up correctly, it makes your life easier, it makes your bookkeeper's life easier, it makes your accountant's life easier. All those things can happen, but make sure that all of those back end things are set up correctly. I think in section 2, you're going to get to open transactions. Like this is another one that drives me like absolutely crazy. But it happens literally all the time. Some EMR systems are more complicated than others. That front desk position tends to have a lot of turnover. So you get a client comes in, they have a package or something else, somebody's unsure of how to check them out. So they leave it open and, put a note to ask somebody about it or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you're a month in, a year in, whatever else, and you've got, we have another client that had like 1,200 open invoices, just for this year. Your P&Ls aren't going to be right. Um, your revenue is not going to be right. What's even worse is this client was actually ended up giving away free services because there were some packages that weren't closed out at the end of the day. The patient had come back in and had their next laser hair removal treatment. She bought a package of 6 because one wasn't closed out. They thought she still had remaining packages, so they gave her another one. Now it's not just you're not making money. This is actually you're losing money now. So this is really something that should be done daily and then weekly and then monthly. But for the love of God, don't go into 2026 with any open invoices or transactions, and talk with your team and find out, where do we need to retrain? Are there places where they don't understand the closeout system? Like what's happening? Don't just keep letting them pile up and pile up and pile up. Close them out. You're going to see a whole section. So there's a whole list on that, on what to do in open transactions and what to look for and stuff like that. The other place that I see people underutilizing their EMR is cost of goods sold. You should put, and most practices I see have retail cost of goods sold put in, but they don't have cost of goods sold that are associated with treatments. So if you have a Morpheus 8 and you're paying $79 a tip, you need to put that in as a cost of good in your EMR. If you don't do that and that's not being pulled out, that's going to affect commissions and payroll. right? It's going to affect, when you run reports and you're trying to see what is your most profitable service, if you're not pulling that stuff out of those reports, then you may have, for instance, when we did hydrofacials. And I love hydrofacial, don't get me wrong, but it costs a lot of money to do a hydrofacial. And if we hadn't figured out like how many, services we get out of those serums and all that stuff and put that into, our cost of goods sold, when we ran those reports, it would have looked like we were, making $1 million on hydrofacial. When we pulled the cost of goods sold out, we're like, ooh, let's quit discounting these hydrofacials. Like, we don't have a lot of cushion in here. Here are the places that we do have cushion. So cost of goods sold is also going to help you decide, like, what do we want to promote? What can we discount? What can we run on special? What can we, whatever else. So when those things are in there incorrectly, then it's going to, that's the cogs that cog up the wheel. You really got to clean that stuff up. And you do not have the same practice right now that you had 3 years ago. Everything has gone up. If you have
Mhm.
not gone in there and checked your retail prices, that's something that you should do quarterly with the way that, prices are going up. But again, at the very least, let's do that at the end of the year. Let's make sure for your retail products, for your services, make sure all of those things are up to date on their pricing, right? Again, like let's don't make specials like willy-nilly or discounts willy-nilly or decide, this is our most popular service is not necessarily your most profitable service. So if that money is not in there, then that's going to be a big red flag too. This is my favorite one. It's my favorite one. It's my favorite one. I'm going to have Christina jump in here in a minute and show us how to do this. I have a whole series on this. And I actually Brent's probably going to kill me, but I think I'm going to throw this one in too, throw the training in on this one too. Just because I like, God, this is so important. Okay, so we're going to talk about liabilities. This is hidden money. And I know that I know you're going to give me some pushback here, audience, but I'm prepared. I'm going to push back against you. Okay, so what liabilities are is it's anybody who's bought packages, prepaids, gift cards, things of that nature, and they haven't been redeemed yet. So we want to get them redeemed. Now, I have practices say, because what my training is how do you call these people and what do you say? I mean, Christina's going to show us how easy Boulevard is just to send a text message out and things like that. But if they haven't opted in or you don't have updated information, you need to pick up the phone. And maybe you should text them and pick up the phone and email them. And I say call them until they tell you to kick rocks or they come in. That's what you should do. But the script is going to show you how to do that, what to say, and how to get your team to buy in. Because as an owner, you're like, yes, I get it. Let's call. And the team's like, oh, we don't want to harass them. We don't want to whatever. You want to show your team that this is actually serving the client to do this. Like how if they're not staying on track with their packages, they're not going to get the results that you offered them, that kind of thing. So I've got a training video on that and some scripts that I want to send you. But this is important for a couple of reasons. It's important because until those people use those packages, they're not going to spend any more money. So we want to get them used. Also, people say, well, that's just why do I want this free person coming into my practice? Well, if I bought a package from you 6 months ago and I'm coming in to have my 6th treatment, I haven't given you any money in 6 months. I'm coming in now and I'm not giving you any money. You can upsell me. You can give me an enhancement. You can tell me about your new membership. You can get me to buy some retail products on the shelf. It's not no money. It's an opportunity to add more money to that ticket. So you want those people to come in and you want them cleaned off. And another reason why you really want them cleaned out of there is because, we work with a lot of practices who are either scaling to sell or who are in negotiations to sell. I think we have like 4 practices who are getting ready to close on their sale, like Q1 of next year. These liabilities, you are going to have to either pay back to the buyer or it's going to come off your top line revenue. For instance, we had $120,000 in outstanding packages and gift cards. That money came off our offer price. And at first I was pissed, but it makes sense, right? The new buyer didn't collect that money, but they have to deliver those services to those you want your patients to have those. They have to deliver those services. But had I understood that and had I known that, I would have been working the phones harder than I was in the months leading up to the, like, come in and come and use your gift card, like get all of your stuff, let's clear all that out. So that's why like that is super important. So, and again, I think it's one of the most important issues here. There's a bunch of things on the checklist to do, but I'm going to have turn it over to Christina for a second, and she's going to screen share with us and just show you like this doesn't have to be hard. I mean, you may not all have something as super easy as Boulevard is to use, but you can 100% do this, and you should.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Can you guys see my
Sure.
screen okay?
I can, yes.
Okay,
That's it. Yep.
perfect. Awesome. So I love that Your Practice Solutions is passionate about this because it's personally a workflow that I think is really easy in Boulevard and very easy to navigate and achieve. So the screen you're seeing now is just what you'll see when you first log into Boulevard, but I want to show you the entire flow that Angela is talking about. So we're going to head right over to reports up on the top here. And of course, my demo site isn't loaded the way I want. Good thing I preloaded it over here. So hopping into the next tab, reports, all reports, you're going to find this outstanding voucher liabilities report right here, which is exactly what we want to see. And I'm going to let it load for a moment, and then I'll make sure that we're kind of looking at the whole year because as mentioned, there's a lot of different clients. Maybe they haven't been in 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. So we want to make sure that we're really taking the full view.
Yep. And one other thing that's on that list, so we're not necessarily going to go through on this right this second, but another thing that's on that list that I want you guys to be aware of is gift card sales and expiration dates. Laws vary from state to state. Find out what your state laws are. And if you're allowed to expire gift cards at 5 years, expire your gift cards. If you've given promotional gift cards out that are, hanging out there, they've been out there for, we had promotional gift cards that were out there for like 17 years. They're not going to use them. Go ahead and expire them. Get them off your liabilities list. Be done with them. But these are real people who have real things that we want to get in. Okay.
Exactly. So once we're in the report, thanks for your patience. You can drill down by any of these. So sale date, purchasing client, sometimes clients have more than one, your purchase location. So just wanted to show you how easy it is to pull this report. From there, you're going to go into your clients tab and create an audience because like we talked about, we want to get in front of all of these purchasing clients and say, hey, we see you have this unused voucher, package, membership, whatever it is. So you'll see here, I've already created an audience for us, the unused voucher list. You also will see this create audience. So this is a very easy flow to create any type of grouping of your clients that you want to reach out to. Let's go into this unused voucher list. You'll see here, and again, this is a demo site, so this is for example, but you'll see the client name, the marketing status. So this means, did they opt in to receive emails from your practice? Did they opt in to receive text? In the real world, I would think 90+% have opted into one or the other. But again, you'll see all of the clients that are on this list. And then up here in the right-hand corner, you're going to see create campaign. And you can very easily start a campaign either via email or text to reach out to all of these members. You'll name your campaign. You'll send it to the list that you saw in that audiences tab. If you need to exclude one or two, you can do that easily here. And you just follow the flow and easily reach out and say, hey, let's get you back in the door. Let's close out 2025 strong. Let's get you beautiful for the holidays. So that's kind of that flow. And, happy to answer any questions
Yeah,
after this.
yeah, that's one of the things that I like about Boulevard too, is there's so much that you can do to customize these campaigns inside of here. We did a webinar a couple of months ago that we talked about like the tagging capabilities. So if you had tagged someone with promotional gift card, you could exclude
Yep.
that audience tag, or you could exclude like, oh, we've run these reports and we're really not making any money on laser hair removal. We're probably going to do away with that in 2026. So let's exclude laser hair removal. But again, your EMR has to be set up correctly on the back end, right? Like your services need to be put in correctly. Promotion coupon codes need to be like, don't use the same coupon code every single time. And I tell people this, like when you have events, do a special code for that event. Don't do, spa 20 every time you do 20% off, because you want to go through and run those reports and see how many of those you sold, how many were the most popular, whatever else. And you're not going to know, was that from 2023? Was that from 2024? Like, when was that promotional thing used? And Boulevard, there's so many things on the back end where you can customize it. And the more time that you put into setting your back end up correctly and work on that, the more your EMR is going to work for you, the more you're going to be able to find like these little places where you can, like, I call them mining for gold. The more, you're going to be able to find those kind of things in there. I left on this list a couple of little P&L, profit and loss things. The whole P&L list is on our big, or I think it's a 38-page end of the year closeout list. They're easy things like running if you've got Boulevards, you just run the report, you send the text, you do the thing. So it's not like you have 38 days worth of work. They're things that you can delegate and get checked off quickly. But I think the P&L portion, which I'm going to have Brent jump in here. I do letters, he does numbers, so he's going to jump in here on the numbers thing. But the reason I thought this was important to leave in a little piece of it here in the EMR is a lot of the information from your P&L is going to come from your EMR system, your revenue, your COGS, your commission, your things like that. And if your EMR is wrong, your P&L is going to be wrong. You're going to get less money on your exit. So Brent, can you speak to that? And I think you have a couple of little free tips that you're gonna. Oh,
Yeah, so
everybody has a screen share prepared except me. Okay.
I feel so cool. So, P&Ls, a lot of people like to avoid the P&L. A lot of people like to just kind of put their head in the sand about financials. I'm going to highly recommend you don't do it. Now, look, we've been in practice for 30 years. We've had months where we've lost $45,000, and we've had days where we've made $100,000. It's going to be an ebb and flow cycle. So don't be scared to look the tiger in the eye. And it's even better if you want to start to remove yourself a little bit as a provider and think of yourself one day a month for 1 hour as the CEO of your company. It's going to make all the difference in the world. Now, I didn't do this for the first 10 years. So if you're not doing it, I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you from my experience, after 30 years on the back half, doing this made all the difference in the world. Not only where Angela was talking about, we saw that hydrofacial, even though it was popular, it was not profitable. Or even if it was profitable, it was very minimally profitable. But then we found out that certain bundles that we had were crazy profitable. So if we were seeing a conversion go from a hydrofacial to an upsell to a package, well, then that was a fantastic thing to keep in place. We knew that that sales process stays in place, and you see that in the numbers. You can see it through the EMR, but what I have in here is where you are now at the end of the year. Please do this. And a lot of you may not even run your own P&Ls. Your accountants run their P&L. Just if you haven't told your accountant to automatically send you a P&L and a balance sheet every month in a PDF, put that email in right now. Like the chokehold of your business right now, the reason why it's not growing the way you want it to is because of you as the owner. You're the chokehold. And if you are not going to take control of the finances, and if you're not going to look the tiger in the eye and say, oh my God, we need to fix this, or hey, this is fantastic, nobody's coming to save you. I mean, Angela will fly out there probably and do the best she can, but nobody's coming to save you. Like all these decisions are on your plate. And this is one of the reasons why you're going to start having monthly workshops with us to show you how to do this simply. So I'm going to kind of show you how we do this really easy.
Can I say really quickly too, one mistake that we made and that we corrected and that helped a lot is, again, if your EMR is set up correctly and you have a bookkeeper or an accountant who understands the medical or aesthetics business, just give them a login to your EMR. So they're not emailing you every month saying they need your sales tax receipts or they need your whatever else. Let them set up Boulevard or your EMR, be confident about your back end setup, give that information to an accountant or a bookkeeper who understands your business. And then it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of stress, and a lot of weight off your plate. And your
Yeah,
P&Ls will be correct.
it's important on so many levels. In particular, because I know some of you on the call are into multiple businesses. And I'm the same way. And my primary account is phenomenal because he understands all the business that I'm in. But it did take us probably close to 5 or 6 years for him to get up to speed on the certain write-offs that you can have inside of a med spa or a private practice. For example, some of you are line itemizing lunch as meals and entertainment, or your accountant is because he sees that you guys went to Fridays. That's a mistake if that's not what it's being used for. If you're having a staff training, or if you're having an event at the office, then you want to make sure that he's categorizing those as either continuing education or entertainment, because the meals and entertainment that he's automatically doing is only a 50% write-off. And when you have stuff like we had at the office where there's something once a week, that's 50 meals at $200 a meal. That adds up quick. So little things like this is where we want to do some housekeeping. That adds another $5,000 towards less taxes you have to pay. Now, can you see this? Can you see the screen?
We can.
All right. So once a month, you want to look at obviously your gross revenue. You want to see what your total sales are. And then right off the bat, most of us go here and we say, okay, here's our P&L, here's our expenses. We made 100,000. We spent $97,000. What was our income? And looking at that math is right. This is looking at taking fixed cost out, but let's simplify this. So every month, obviously, you want to do that. You want to see what your revenue is. You want to see what your expenses are. At the end of the year, what we want to do is we want to get into these expenses here. And the goal is 10%, see what we can cut. Now, you want to trim the fat 10% of expenses. Oh, it's better to do this at least once a year, but every quarter is even better. Because the truth is this, and if you've been in practice for more than 3 to 5 years, that you know that you are actually gaining 12 to 14% in expenses year over year. So if you don't get ahead of that and cut down to 10%, this is not 10%. This is just trimming off fat that you should have done a while ago. And you can find 10% everywhere. Where the easy place to find 10% is your insurance coverages, is your auto, it's your how you're doing your line item write-offs. And the biggest one that we've seen is subscriptions.
Can I tell you my cheat? My easy cheat? Like if you don't have time to go through all lines, it's just to cancel your credit card. And then people are going to call you asking you for your credit card number. Again, you decide whether they're worth giving your credit card to.
That's one way to do it.
We had all kinds of stuff that, we had subscribed to all kinds of things and we wouldn't even, like, yeah, I don't think we're going to do that. So
yeah, and then come back in and only reapply, and you just cut off 10% from there.
Yep.
So that's a big one for us. The other real quick one here is if you don't have more than one bank account, come Monday, open up 3 bank accounts. What you want to
Oh,
have,
that's a whole nother,
real quick, we want to
call.
have an operating
Okay.
account. We want to have an account for profit for the owner, and then we want to have a tax account. And if you don't have those three things in place, then let's put those in place. You can reach out to us, come out to one of the next workshops that we do. That will take a lot of stress off you at the end of the quarter and at the end of the year.
Something. All right, Clay, you can see why he's my money guy, because I just canceled the credit card. He's gonna line item everything. Okay, so we've got a couple other things that I think are hugely important. We're gonna go through. Christina, if you see any place in here where you can, screen share, you want to talk about anything or whatever else, then feel free to do that, to jump in. One of the things on the list that I want you to do is to go through your service menu and remove any outdated offerings on your service menu. Again, you are not the same practice that you were when you set up your EMR. So make sure things are cleaned up in there. If you have renamed things or repackaged things, go in your EMR and pull all of that. I did that, I don't know, maybe year 10. And I did it because it was becoming time consuming for admin team. When they went to look for a service, well, we had, I don't know, I think we tried a red light bed for weight loss for about 6 minutes. But we had put all those in there and we were like, okay, well, that doesn't actually work to help people lose weight. But we didn't take them out of the system. But when they would go to look for, Radius or whatever else, things come up in alphabetical order and they were scrolling through old services or products or whatever else. So go through, delete it,
Yeah.
get it off the menu, clean it up. Make sure your descriptions for those services are correct and are actually in there. Those may show up on your booking link. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure you don't, I do a lot of secret shopping for my clients, and I'll go to their booking link and go to book, and instead of their description, they'll have something like, only allow 30 minutes, or make sure good faith exam is, they've got an internal note in their description of the services. So if you've got an EMR that allows online booking and those services are going to come up online, change those descriptions. And then
Yeah.
here's the other thing. Don't have your descriptions read like a protocol. Mask, exfoliation, blah, 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 blah. This is what's going to happen. Like, nobody cares. Remember, in all my trainings, I tell you guys, like, you're not selling weight loss, you're not selling lasers, you're selling glowing skin, you're selling confidence, you're selling whatever else. So that's the place to put, like, this vitamin C facial leaves you with glowy, dewy, that's your description. People don't need to want to know every single step that you're going to do in the facial. If they do, they're going to call you, they're going to ask the provider, they're going to whatever. What they want to do is to lie on your table and get glowy, dewy skin. So tell them what the outcome is in the description. Don't give them soap notes in the description. Make sure those descriptions match your brand, match, who you are and what you want to, put out in to the world.
I definitely want to show, Angela, if I
Yeah,
can, just a
do
few of those
please.
because it's so
Please.
relevant to what you're
It is.
saying.
Yeah, and
So
test this as a patient. Like, go through every now and then and but see what it looks like from a patient's point of view. There we go, achieve silky smoothie skin. That's what we want.
exactly,
We don't
exactly. Yeah, so I just want to show you like everything that Angela's saying is spot on. And I just want to say in Boulevard, it's so easy to change these, whether it's the pricing because you set this price 2 years ago, or whether it is that, oh, well, not that one, that nice description that makes people really want to book that service. It's very easy to come in here, change the name, change the description, change the pricing if you need to. It's probably gone up in the
Yep. And
last
look,
few years.
there's your commission enabled or
Yep.
disabled or
Easy
whatever else.
peasy
So
tax.
make sure those things are, yeah.
So
And
that's
then,
one.
yeah.
And the other, just quickly, is how easy it is to toggle on and off. So if you're finding that, your fillers are doing really well, but your wrinkle relaxers aren't, you can simply toggle it off. And that's going to change the system. That's going to change what clients see when they're on your website booking through the EMR and through Boulevard. So just very easy to
So
change what you
wait,
need to
that's
change.
another great point. So I see lots of clients do this. Every single service, every single thing they have is bookable online. That doesn't need to be. You don't need to have a gazillion packages and a gazillion. Nobody's going to buy a membership probably from an online booking. That's something they're going to do in person or they're going to ask about through your social media. Like, be very intentional about what you are going to open up to online booking through your portal. And if you have talks, consider having 2 first-time talks and have a repeat talks. Allow more time for your first-time talks treatment and, repeat for this. There's some like you can't just come in and get a CO2 laser. I mean, we're probably going to want a little bit of a pre-op, make sure they're the right candidate, set some expectations, stuff like that. So you don't need to put that on your online booking button. So go through all of those things, look at it, from a patient's point of view from outside, clear your cache or whatever you have to do so it doesn't like automatically log you in. See what it looks like. Is it easy to use? If you've got a list of 500 things that, come up when somebody goes to book, you're giving your clients decision fatigue and they may like do nothing. So be very intentional with this upcoming year, what you want to open up for online booking and make sure like it's spot on, with all of those things. Fix confusing service names, reduce the clicks, do stuff like that. The other thing that is like super big deal to me, I can't believe we're almost at 45 minutes. I could literally do this for days, but this referral source thing is so important, is so important, is so important, is so important, is so important. You monitoring the chat there because we got
Yeah. You're talking about Adrian?
yeah. Okay, so this referral source thing is like massive. People take it for granted, and in 2026 we're going to fix this. We're going to use this. So, in Boulevard, when you're doing your intake forms and it's all online, it's everything, you can put what you want your referral sources to be and the patient will click it. People put on there standard stuff like Google, friend, whatever. The friend referral thing is another one of my that's another high horse that we can get on a referral program for. I could do that for another day or two. But in your EMR system, if your EMR system does not allow you to do different referral sources, scrap your EMR system today. Like, let's get rid of it and let's start over today. And I'm telling you, this could be life-changing for your clinic. You have to have this. You have to utilize this. This is going to tell you, you're going to stop guessing where you put your marketing dollars, and you are going to know where to put your marketing dollars. Like, quit thinking maybe we should run some more Facebook ads. Maybe we should, do more promotions on Instagram. Maybe we should try another affiliate. If these are set up correctly and you are working them, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt where to put your marketing dollars. So every referral source you possibly have, talk to your team and make sure they're also asking people if that place on the box, I would make it mandatory. But if they haven't put something, don't put a box that says other, if you can help it, try to think of all the referral sources. But if they have other, make sure your team is then asking them where, because this is a situation that happened recently. We had a client tell us, we just got a new referral from ChatGPT. She clicked other, and we did what you said. And when she came in, our admin team said, we saw that you put other on your referral form, so how did you hear about us? And she's like, I actually asked ChatGPT. So how many of you now have ChatGPT as a referral source? Well, you should put it in, because that's what we're coming to. So get ChatGPT in there. Make sure you have, social media is nice to have, but it's better if you have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We have another client, small one provider client. She gets most of her laser patients from TikTok. Never would have thought it, but she hashtags her location, her city, her whatever else. But if she just had social media, she wouldn't know. Like I should put, some money into my TikTok instead of my Instagram or my Facebook, because, we just ran this report, and these are where all of our, referrals are coming from. So stop guessing. Make it mandatory if the box other is checked, and then you look at it quarterly. Where did all of our new patients come from this quarter? And that's where, put your time, your energy, and your marketing dollars, and quit throwing marketing dollars. If you have, you go through this whole quarter and you have 0 clients who heard about you on Facebook, then cancel your Facebook ads too. There's more than 10% of your P&L, your budget cut, but don't think, I think we're getting a bunch of people from there. Like, no. And that's what your EMR is for. Your EMR, again, if set up correctly, is going to show you what services are profitable, what providers are bringing in revenue, where your marketing dollars should go, where your liability is, where all of that stuff should go. Again, these are all on the check. So much more than actually all of this is on the check sheet, but these are all on the check sheet. The other thing that's on the check sheet that kind of gets overlooked, and I know you, and this is the thing, again, this is a monthly thing for me, minimum quarterly, come hell or high water, like before the end of the year. Pull all your retail products. And what you're going to look at most when you're pulling your retail products is, what did you sell the least of this year? I mean, we definitely want to see what we sold the most of, but what did we sell the least of this year? If you have, I don't know, Elastin Hydrotent. Again, nothing against Elastin or Hydrotent, just what came to mind. And you sold 5 all year, and you're hanging on to them because you got one client who's been a client for 15 years and one esthetician who's going to live or die by Hydrotent. That's a bad business decision to make one person happy. But you have a product that costs less called Hello Sunshine, and you sold 734. Make your decisions for next year from those product reports. Pull those product reports, see what your top sellers are, call those vendors and say, listen, my top sellers this year were here. Tox, were Define, were, that Skin Medica, that AHA, BHA cream, $44 in sales, gone. Skin Medica's going off. That's going to get removed. We're not going to sell that anymore. Find out what your top sellers were and your lowest sellers are. Get rid of the low sellers. Talk to your team about how we're going to talk to that one patient who's going to die when you take away their Hydrotent, and other options. But then call your vendors of your top sellers and say, listen, these were our top sellers. I need to know what it looks like, what kind of discounts I get when I bulk order. I need you to put me on a list. If there's ever a promotion for like this product, like, I'm going to get your emails about all of your promotions. But as my rep, I need you to know when this product comes up for promo, like, don't assume I saw the email. Like, call me, text me, call my office manager, text my office manager. This is what we're interested in. So use that reporting again to that's going to save a lot of money. So look at that, this year, get everybody, on the same page. Oh my gosh, again. I'm going to try to get to these last things like super, super, super quick. Another thing that's on that list is front desk like bottlenecks and flow that happen in your EMR. And this is another thing that it could have helped me so much. Talk to your team, have a meeting, again, walk through as patient, send a secret shopper or whatever else. Where are bottlenecks happening in your practice? Where are clients having to wait longer than they should? Where's check-in, check-out taking longer than they should, whatever else? And I'll give you an example of this. We had a couple of estheticians on our team. One esthetician ran 10, 15 minutes late, always, every service, every time, every day, everything. But in our booking system, our hydrofacials, our platinum hydrofacials were 60 minutes. This esthetician ran behind all the time. But hydrofacial, there was no other option. Hydrofacial was just a 60-minute treatment, so patients were just always waiting. We always had this kind of bottleneck. In Boulevard, I could have made that esthetician's hydrofacial 70 minutes. And the other esthetician could have, she was a tight 59 minutes. So you could have even shortened her a little bit. So if you have a booking system that has the ability to do those kind of things, then like make those changes to make your 2026 so much smoother. Boulevard has the option, if you have, just like you could possibly have a team member that does that, you could possibly have a patient. She's a chatty Cathy. Or
Yep.
Dr. B had two, and they cried and had to be cried into puddles and had to be put back together every single appointment. Our booking software at the time did not have that availability. We would just kind of like, if we saw that person on the books and we knew, we would kind of stretch or move his appointments or whatever else. But in Boulevard, if you have a chatty Cathy, A, you can tag her as that. But
Yes.
B, you also have the ability just to give her a little cushion on all
Yeah.
of her appointments.
So I want to show at the staff level, Angela's first example, exactly that. You can come in, you can pick a member of your staff, you can go to the services section, and you'll see all of the services that the staff member offers. And then you can customize. So if I hit customize, you can do custom durations, you can do custom finishing times. And really, I think it's that custom transition time. If this
Yep.
is the esthetician that's always running late,
Yep.
that transition time is exactly what you can input. And that way, when you're booking, the system automatically populates that extra transition time in for you. And then, just as Angela mentioned, you can also do this on the client level. So if you have folks that walk in the door and maybe they're a little spicy, you can put a little chili pepper by their name and everyone will know. Or maybe they're, emotional or running late.
Can we use any emoji? Do we have prayer hands emojis? Because we used to
Yes.
call ours EGRs, which means extra grace required.
Yes.
We knew we just needed a little extra grace to deal with this client. So
Yes.
that is definitely the emoji I would have picked for that.
Yes, there are all sorts of emojis that you can pick under here, client tags.
And
You can add
this,
tags,
yeah,
difficult client, always late.
yeah, love that. And we did, like I said, we did the last kind of like Boulevard one we talked about tags and stuff like that. If you guys have an EMR that allows tags, tag. If it allows notes, notes, because I'm telling you what I'm hearing across the board now more than ever is people are buying people before they're buying products or services. So if you have those notes and you have those tags and you know before they come in that their mom fell and broke their hip 3 months ago, and you can ask about their mother when they come in, they're never leaving your office. They're not going for $1 less for talks because you've asked about their mom. You've asked about their kid who graduated. You know they're getting their lips done because we're, going through a divorce and we're keeping it, quiet, but and you can give them the wink and you can whatever else. So use your EMR to you've got 4,000 people in your EMR. You're their only aesthetic provider, so they're going to remember all of your stuff. You need some help remembering that. It's not because you don't care, it's because there are a lot of people. Use the tags, use the note system, like work your EMR. There's, that's why I kind of picked the analogy I did. Like your EMR is either like a gold mine or a junk drawer, but that completely depends on you. There are EMR systems that are better, that are easier to use, that are easier, to navigate, again, which is why I love Boulevard so much. But it doesn't matter what your EMR is. If the information you have is incorrect, if you're not utilizing it, then it's not going to matter. And here's the other thing. I mean, I 100% know Boulevard does it. I know that 2 of the EMR systems that we used before do it, so I'm going to assume that they all do it. They do updates and upgrades from time to time. Read the emails you get from them. Like if they send you a, new upgrade, you can now whatever, don't go, yeah, I'll do that later. Like either do that now or do that at the end of the year and go through and read them all and study them all. There may be new things that have come out since you bought it or started using it that you're not utilizing that can make your day easier, your reporting better, your whatever else. So like stay on top of all of those changes. Um oof.
Yep, you're coming up on time, babe.
Okay, so a couple of things here to recap. I think we need to do that again because I got a lot that I didn't list. I know a lot of you on here are our clients already and are Boulevard users already. So I'm going to talk to a couple of different groups here. If you are not a Boulevard user and are interested in doing a demo of Boulevard, first of all, if you are my client and I've gotten into your EMR and I've seen this hot mess you have, I have told you that my best recommendation as a consultant and an owner for 3 decades is to start all over. If you are overwhelmed by any of the things that I told you and you have a different software or your software is not as easy to use, just do a demo of Boulevard. I mean, take a minute and do a demo. Do not be overwhelmed about the switch. It's not great, but in the long run, it could certainly help you. I am a partner with Boulevard, so I can help you get some perks. And I think we didn't ever get the final, but Christina, did you ask if we can we give any other goodies for
Yes, yes.
webinar?
I literally 5 minutes ago got the
Okay, good.
official sign off. So for those
Christina's
that
in California, so it's not 8 o'clock for her. She's
yeah,
still working.
for those that registered for this webinar, we are able to offer an exclusive 20% off of all Boulevard
Okay.
fees and also a free Duo, which is the hardware that we use for payment processing. So we are throwing that in as well, which we don't often
Okay.
do. So
Okay.
definitely special for everyone, working with
Okay.
your practice
And
solutions
can I
and
still
attending.
I can still get my
Yes.
free text and email perks. That's the one I like to
Yes.
get. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So Brent's gonna drop my Boulevard link in the chat. Um it'll also go out again when we send out the follow-up email. So you're gonna get the checklist for the full checklist for kind of the things that we talked about tonight. You'll get the Boulevard demo link. If you have like any questions or concerns, like feel free to reach out and email me. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but the phone number that is on the bottom of all of my emails is my cell phone number. I have some clients on here who were actually texting back and forth yesterday and today, and who can testify that yes, I will. If you have an emergency in the middle of the day, I will answer your text and text you back. I have no problem um, texting with my clients. I'll work weekends, nights, whatever. So if you have any questions about Boulevard and you want to kind of talk through those before you do the demo, or want a little more help walking through that, I'm happy to do that for you. In order to get those the discount and the perks, you do have to go through us to do that. Um, we also have, we are offering, and I'm going to throw in another thing um, with this, Brent, too. We have a bundle right now. It's as cheap as it's ever going to get, but I just feel like this is important. It's $197, and you get the employee manual that literally took me 28 years to write. You get every single HR form you can imagine, requests for training, all that stuff. And this employee manual is written especially for aesthetics practices. So we have photo, information in there. We have cell phone policies. I know that's been a big one, like how much cell phone you can use. Can you keep patients' pictures on cell phones? Specifically written for aesthetics practices, covers everything, all the HR forms that go with it for performance plans, for write-ups, requests for time off, requests for training, everything you can imagine is in there as well. There is also a training video on how to completely customize your employee manual. And then there's another portion that walks you through whether you as an owner um, do it or whether your manager does it. It's how to use those HR forms. I know sometimes newer managers, like going into a meeting when they've got to write somebody up, like, oh, like I hate this part, I hate doing it. It just makes it more like matter of fact, gives you some background, how to fill out the form, little scripts to say, makes it so it's just a thing that happens. It's not this big dramatic thing, but all of the scripts are in there for each form. There's a pro tip, there's a like psych you up part in there for every HR form that goes with it. And then you will get our 38-page do not freak out end of the year check sheet. So it covers everything on the EMR. Plus we talk about like um, physical walkthrough of the practice, what you need to do for marketing. Um, all of your vendors, like go on their website. If you have Sciton, go on Sciton's website and make sure you're listed on there. Make sure your address is correct, your website is correct, your phone number is correct. Like they should be marketing for you. It slips off the radar, but it needs to be done. So all of these little things, like if they get done, you're going to have a more profitable 2026. It's going to be smoother. Like things will just fall in place. There's also a little bonus part at the bottom that's like, if you've only got 30 minutes, here are things on the checklist you can kind of check off. Oh, Christina went away.
It just turn her camera off.
Oh, you disappeared. I was like, oh my gosh, I missed her. So we've got that bundle. But the thing that I am going to throw into that bundle is, hi, cutie. I'm surprised my dog hasn't been in my camera yet. The thing that I'm going to throw into that bundle, because I feel so passionately about it, Brent, so I will have to kind of repackage this,
I got it.
that the how to call back the packages in the series. So you're going to get I think it's like a 9-minute training video. So your staff gets buy-in. And so all of that happens as well. But you'll also get a companion guide, a printable companion guide. So you have the scripts and the reports and who to call and what to call and whatever else. So we've sold this employee manual alone for $7.99. So it's there. You'll also get, if you haven't worked with us before, our discovery calls are free. We would love to chat with you, whether you're, ready to scale, whether you want some help, like training that management team. We have membership options. I promise you, we are the most affordable consultant you will come across. If you're looking to sell, we've been through that nightmare. We would adore assisting you and helping you with that. Book a call with either one or both of us, and we would love to chat with you about that as well. Were there any questions that were?
Adrian, I got it handled. I will say this to any clients on here, just check your email. We're going to be having an owners only workshop coming up very shortly.
Mhm. Okay. And Christina, thank you so much. I mean, I love you guys at Boulevard. So happy that you came on, and I have a partner, and I love seeing your voice in the background. Look, we all have lives too, and that's why,
Yes.
like, let's get this stuff cleaned up so we have time for boys. And you're smoking a pipe, Adrian. And we all want to be Adrian in New York when we grow
Yes.
up, chilling in his office. All
No,
right.
Love
thank you
that.
so much for having me on, and it's been a
Yes.
pleasure.